when I was a kid. Guys like me were brought up to follow codes.
Hey, jerk off. What'd you say? What?
It is so exciting to get to talk to you today, so thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
This is an exciting film for so many fans of The Sopranos. Were you also a fan of The Sopranos?
David Chase once came up to me, met me in a movie that I was doing in Virginia to ask me to do a certain part in one of the seasons, and it just wasn't the right thing to do at the time, but I just really, really liked his vibe. I just liked who he was, his dedication. He was a no BS kind of guy. So I went after this. They weren't gonna see me, and I told my agent, just get me a meeting, let me sit down with him. He said, well, he's only gonna be in New York. I said, fine, I'll fly myself to New York. I'll sit with him. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And luckily it did.
How come you didn't want to do it then, do you think?
Because I'd already done Goodfellas. I was in the middle of getting my brain eaten by Anthony Hopkins and Hannibal. So I just wasn't sure what I wanted to do next. But then when this came about, I went after it.
I've always seen myself as a reckless gambler.
I was fascinated to see that one of the earliest things you did in your career was a soap called Another World.
A guy like me never knows when he's gonna get called away on emergency, you know what I mean?
That's sort of hard to reconcile with the actor we know you as today.
I never ever wanted to be an actor. Came time to go to college. I went to the University of Miami. At that time, you just needed a pulse to get in there, which I'm not proud of. I went there, and right next to it was for the drama department. I decided to, like, all right, I'll be a drama major for like a year just because I have the depth of a thimble at that time. And it was just fun. There was just something about it. Within 6 months of graduating, I got a soap. And I was really like, I don't want to do a soap. Like, I want to do like a movie with like Marty or Bob or whatever. My dad said to me, he says, well, how often have you worked in front of a camera? Well, never. He says, well, maybe this would be a good way to learn. It made total sense. I'd scream it from the mountaintops. It was the best training that I could have done.
Christmas, your share. Just a little taste. Jimmy.
I know I'd go from rags to riches.
You said you wanted to make movies with Marty and Bob. Now, I'm assuming that's Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro, and of course that ended up happening in Goodfellas. Do you reckon you manifested that a bit if you were dreaming of that from those early days?
No question. I know what you're saying, and I did put it out there, but it's kind of like, oh, all right, this is going to happen.
Growing up with the family takes a toll.
Might be a rock and roll.
And what I love about The Many Saints of Newark is it stands alone as a movie. You don't have to have all that knowledge. I imagine it's also really exciting for people who have it, but I just loved it as is.
Yeah, I agree. There was 10 years of The Sopranos or 9 years, and like you just said, this movie stands alone. It does meld together with some of the characters if you're privy to the series, but this just, I don't know, just worked out and like you said, it stands alone.
Look, you take the speakers, right? At the same time, you say to yourself, this is the last time I'm ever gonna steal something. It's that simple.
It's so well written, so well acted. Was it a really enjoyable ensemble to be a part of?
Totally, because there's just some movies you do, there's just nothing more exhilarating than to be playing make-believe with people who are really into playing make-believe. It sounds silly, but it's exhilarating of how much you put of yourself into these pretend situations. And I just really like it. When it's working, there's nothing better.
I also loved you in The Muppets.
The Muppets from Spain. I did 2 Muppet movies, you know.
You are beautiful, sweetheart.
Oh, thank you.
Miss Piggy's a good leading lady, I reckon.
She certainly is, and it's the only woman that I've ever made love to when I was acting.
Okay, there's a whole story there.
We'll make the right decision. This kid's got what it takes.
Ray, it has been such a pleasure to talk to you. Congratulations on this film.
Thank you.
As far as your nephew goes,
I'm listening.
Stay out of his life.